This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by the Take Control ebook series. The answers you need now from leading experts. Get them all at takecontrolbooks.com. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the Talk of the Mac community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. The last time we talked to our guests that we have today was Macworld iWorld 2013. At that point, they were hinting that something was coming, and now that something is here. So I'd like to welcome the whole crew from Smile Software, Gene MacDonald, Phil Goward, Greg Scown. Guys, thank you so much for coming back. This is great. This time we're not, though, in the same place, and it's a little quieter.
Yes, that's true. Thank you for having us, Chuck.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, it is a lot quieter.
yeah, a lot less crazy, but and well, we may have couches where we are, but they're just not where we can all share one. So, of course, the thing I'm hinting at is PDFpen 6. This is a major upgrade to PDFpen, an essential utility as far as I'm concerned. And, of course, at this point, I do my usual disclaimer to acknowledge that Smile is a sponsor of the Mac Voices shows. They are, in fact, our longest-running sponsor. So thank you for that, but that's not why they're here. They're here because they make amazing software, and in this case, PDFpen 6. With that, I'm going to throw it out to you all because it's your product. Tell me about the launch and feature set of PDFpen 6. What's new in this?
Well, the launch was just a few days ago, and we've been working on it for quite a while. This is the number one feature, at least the most exciting one for most of the users and for us, is Microsoft Word export. So you can take a PDF and turn it into a Microsoft Word formatted document, so .doc or .docx, and that's a major new functionality, and it's pretty exciting to be able to add something just as powerful as that to a product that we've been working on. I mean, PDFpen was first released in 2004, Macworld 2004, so it's not a toddler in software terms. It's quite mature.
Gene, that's one thing about PDFpen. I look at this and I think, okay, they're PDFs. What more can you do with them? And then you all find new things that I didn't know I wanted to do, but it's like, yeah, that's really handy. And you're right, an export to Word is extremely important because, of course, that means you can also pull it into Pages and send it a lot of different places if you get it into a .doc or .docx format.
Yeah, it's pretty handy. It is Microsoft Word export, but if you convert it to a format that Pages can read, then you can open it up in Pages as well and edit it from there. So even for people who may not be using Microsoft Office anymore, it's still something that they can make use of.
So I'm sitting here thinking about it. I can take something that someone sends me as a PDF. I can OCR it in PDFpen, and of course I can do some editing in PDFpen, but this means I can also send it out to Word or Pages and do everything that I want with it, just like, well, I better ask that. Just like somebody sent it to me in a Word document, how thorough is the export to Word?
The export to Word is really quite good. We spent a lot of time researching what was available to us in terms of local libraries or online services, and we ultimately settled on the Nuance OmniPage cloud service. And we did that because their conversion fidelity is just really excellent. You can take a fairly complicated document or an invoice with tables and throw it at it, and it will do a really good job. And so we were consistently impressed at what it could do versus what else was available in the market.
Greg, you took one of my questions. You mentioned tables. Do you parse tables into tables?
Yes, we do.
Wow. Okay.
To add to what Greg said, when I first saw what it did, I didn't believe it did it.
Well, actually, the backstory on this is that I had this horrible invoice that I got from a wholesaler that we do business with, and it has a table, a signature, this up here, that down there. And I threw it just thinking, oh, I'm curious. I mean, how's it going to do? I mean, and lo and behold, it came back with nearly 100% fidelity, and it blew my mind. And so I packaged it up as an example and sent it to Jean. And Jean wrote back to me, and she's like, Greg, surely you're mistaken. This cannot possibly be the example you want us to use to show people privately. This was, privately, we showed a few people before our release.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the wrong file. And
I thought it was a mistake.
Yeah, and I got to go back and say, no mistake. Really, this works. So that was fun.
Because Jean clearly has so much faith in you.
It was. I mean, you'll be blown away if you haven't seen it yet. And we have a couple samples up on our website because of the situation, that this is a licensed service from Nuance. The conversion to Word is not something you can actually demo in the free version. You have to be a registered user to demo, to use the Word service export, which that's just a condition of the license. So we put some samples up on our website of PDFs and then the converted versions. So I think people will be pretty impressed and be excited to use it.
And in addition to the samples, we also offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. So there's not a lot of risk in taking the plunge once you've seen the examples.
We talked about tables, but how about, now you said this invoice had signatures and those kind of things. Do you parse out those as graphic pieces or in some fashion as well?
Yes, they get turned into graphics.
Wow. So what do I get? Do I get a Word document with all that just inserted basically where it was in the original?
Correct.
Okay.
You got to try it. Got to see.
You're good.
Yeah, my mind is blown. I mean, I got it right away, but I didn't even think about trying something that sophisticated. I threw a normal text-oriented PDF at it, and it exported fine. It's like, oh wow, this is great, but I didn't even think about throwing something that complex at it.
I feel like now we run the risk, having said this, of like getting documents that are just completely off the chart. But our experience with complex documents has been pretty good, and we're happy to pass on other documents that may or may not perform for you.
Talk just for a second about the service you're using to do the conversion. And I guess service can mean a lot of different things. Is this something that I have to be online to accomplish, or is it built into the software? Is it that kind of service?
Right. No, you do have to be online. You have to have an active internet connection, and you have to be connected to the public internet. You could certainly be connected through your firewall or whatever local protections you have, but you do need to be able to access the net. Just like, I think we could probably say if you can get to Google from where you're at, you can get to this as well. And again, we evaluated numerous local libraries that just don't produce the kind of results that we're capable of getting this way. So, it is a trade-off, admittedly, but we think it's a good trade-off because of the quality of the results.
Well, and how many times are you really going to need to process something that complex when you have no internet connection or you couldn't wait? This is not exactly like filling a prescription in an emergency room, so
We hope so, but
Yes.
but I do have to ask, and Greg, you seem to be the one that's speaking for this, so Philip, Jean, jump in if you want. Does this introduce any security issues in this world right now? And I'm thinking,
perfectly reasonable question. So the document itself gets transported over secure HTTP, which is exactly the same protocol that you use to communicate with your bank or with your credit card company in your internet browser. So the same level of security is applied there. And then on the conversion end, your document is stored for a very limited time. So it's only stored for the time that it takes to do the conversion and to send it back to you. And any leftover remnant files are destroyed after 12 hours, no matter what. Like whether they're currently active, no matter what, does not matter. So they're very, very careful on the receiving end about your data.
Greg, you say remnant files after 12 hours. Remnant files where? On the service or on my computer?
On the service. Let's say that you sent up a job that failed, and for some reason a file got left behind. They even have a cleanup process that goes back and says, gosh, any files that are left over for any reason beyond this point get deleted no matter what. I think that their approach to security is very aggressive and very good.
So if I'm working in a law office, in a medical office, anything like that, I could do these PDF conversions to Word without having to really worry about issues of privacy or data escaping anywhere.
I would think so. I mean, I can't speak to the exact legal requirements for those professions, but I think in general, yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. It seems like all of us are a little paranoid right now because all we hear is data breach, data breach, data breach, password reset, password reset.
Sure. No, it's understandable, and I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is Nuance who's providing the service, and they are very well known in the legal and medical community for their other services. So they, that I think that adds an extra level of confidence in the process.
Now we're talking primarily about this as, I guess, the flagship feature for PDFpen 6, but that's not all you've done with it. You've done a few more things.
Yeah.
Philip, you want to go on this one?
I'll do my little bit of talking for this one. We've also done a fairly major user interface overhaul of the product. Not one that will make any user come and be horrified and think, oh, I don't even know how to use this, but more one of growing the really good tools that exist and making them smoother and quicker and easier to use with less clicks. So the whole editing and markup process is just a lot more fluid with this version of PDFpen. So we're pretty happy with where the development of that kind of work for the product has gone this time. Also, the whole user interface has been updated for Retina Display. So if you have a nice Retina Display laptop, then it will come out looking beautifully on the system.
Can you talk just a little bit about that? So many folks are pushing toward, upgrading for a Retina display. And I have to tell you that there's some applications that absolutely need it. They don't look good on a Retina if they haven't been upgraded. And then there are others that just don't seem to matter. I don't know, maybe my eye's not as good as it should be. Was that a really big thing that your users demanded at this point?
It is a big thing in many ways. To clarify a little bit, the Retina part of Retina is viewing your PDF with the full display clarity that can be provided. We provided that in the previous product line as well. But then around it, you have all of these little icons and the user interface pieces. If they don't match exactly and they don't look clumsy in comparison to what you're displaying, it doesn't look great. And so it becomes an important feature then, just in terms of the quality of the user experience. And so that's why it's important in the land of PDFs, I think.
I think it's definitely important because I'm sitting right now in front of a Retina Mac, but over there I have a non-Retina Mac. And you don't realize until you put them side by side just what a difference it is. And then when you go to a non-Retina Mac, just like going to a non-Retina iPad, it's like, it looks okay, but there is a difference. There's no question about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Non-Retina, after you've worked with the Retina for a while, seems really clumsy to read when you go back and you think, wow, this is really different. This is what I was used to for a long time.
How did we use it all those years?
Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, it's so smooth to move into Retina, but it's not so smooth moving back.
I would make a similar comment about the changes that were made to the user experience, to the editing bar. When I go back and forth now between 6.0 and 5.x, it's night and day. I mean, Philip just did a really beautiful job of reorganizing things and making the tools so much easier to get at and so much faster to use. It's just fantastic.
Well, again, right now you're exporting to Word, and there's some very obvious reasons that that's a good idea. But I feel like I can do so much within PDFpen that I guess maybe that's why I didn't, when I first got it to play with PDFpen 6, I did the export, but I didn't, push it because so much of the time PDFpen will address whatever I want to do to the PDF all by itself. That you all have built so much power into it with each successive version.
That is true. Often the editing tools are well more than enough, and frankly, I don't often think of word export while I'm working with PDFs, but I know for some professions and some work, it's really essential.
The Take Control ebook series is bringing you this edition of MacVoices. Two of the latest additions to the series include Joe Kissel's Take Control of Your Passwords and Tonya Angst's Take Control of Your iPad, 2nd edition. Joe helps you with your safety and security online and off. He talks about what does and does not work as a password strategy, evaluates password management software, and much more in Take Control of Your Passwords. Tonya's Take Control of Your iPad, 2nd edition, updates her guide to Apple's tablet to include iOS 6 information, walks you through the obvious and not so obvious parts of the iPad's interface, helps you appreciate all of the apps that Apple provides with the iPad, and much more. Find both of these books and a whole lot more at TakeControlBooks.com. The answers you need now from leading experts. Take Control Books. Now, just for the fun of it, let's say that I have a document that I really don't want to ever be able to be modified. Is it possible to create a PDF that you all can't crack and let me go in and tweak it?
To never be modified, no. I mean, the level of security that the PDF specification offers is not super heavy. If you're looking to protect your document for longevity from being copied, you're in trouble once you have it on a computer to begin with, really. But if what you're looking for is to prevent an error, someone doing something to your document inadvertently, then there are tools, and we've added to PDFpenPro 6 the ability to specify a document's permissions. So Adobe have defined a set of things you can do to a document, for example, copy text out of it or rearrange the pages, etc. And you can allow or disallow these things to be done, and you protect this with what's called an owner password. So you have this password that you have that allows you to make these changes. And then someone else can open the document even without a password, but not be able to do the things that you specify they can't do unless they have the owner password. So I don't know if that answers your question entirely, but I think it's more along the lines of if you're looking to specify what you want someone to be able to do to your document or not do to your document, you can do that in PDFpenPro 6. But if you're looking to absolutely prevent, that's hard because there are third parties who make tools that will strip various protections from PDFs because it is possible to do that. Obviously, we don't.
But you definitely answered the question. And so I guess if I get one of those documents created by PDFpen 6 or another utility that have those permissions already set, you can't necessarily override them. I'd have to go somewhere for something that really is intended to crack it open.
Correct.
So
yeah, we're not in the business of cracking PDFs. We are a respectful PDF editor who allow you to apply the permissions and who respects them. Likewise is true of Preview and of Adobe Reader and Acrobat and Skim and a number of other products. So everybody behaves generally well.
And forgive me if I'm not trying to paint up anybody here in the wrong direction. It's just I think these are becoming bigger and bigger issues. Again, there's that whole paranoia thing that's going on, and if I'm creating a settlement document of some kind, I would like to know with some reasonable certainty that it can't be modified casually anyway. That's because you're right. You can make an impenetrable box that will protect whatever's inside, but then you can't get to it either. So at some point, you have to just give it up. How about the question that we have to ask right now to everyone, it seems. If I'm going to go and buy PDFpen 6, do I buy it in the App Store or do I buy it directly from Smile? And what are the implications from a functionality standpoint for that decision?
Well, there's a pretty simple question you have to ask yourself, which is, do I need iCloud access? Because Apple have limited iCloud access to apps that are sold or purchased in the Mac App Store. And so if you, for whatever reason, are reliant on iCloud to share your PDFs with your other devices, then you want to go to the Mac App Store to purchase PDFpen or PDFpenPro 6. Otherwise, the Smile version can do everything the Mac App Store version can, and that includes Dropbox syncing and sharing. So if you're a Dropbox user and not, instead of an iCloud user, you can go either way. Dropbox works fine with either one.
And no other inherent benefits or issues. And I just certainly don't want to tear down iCloud.
Well,
I don't want to build up iCloud. It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's no features that there's nothing in the feature set that is different other than that. Of course, every one of our updates to PDFpen will go through approval process with the Mac App Store, so that means that generally our updates appear on our website first instead of in the Mac App Store. So if it's important to you to get things the day they come out, that might be one reason. But I think if you like having apps in the Mac App Store, then buy it in the Mac App Store. If you need iCloud, buy it in the Mac App Store. Otherwise, download the PDF pen demo from our site, and you can purchase it directly from the app itself, in fact. So,
a couple of things I want to make sure we get to. First of all is, well, I'll mash them together, and then you can help me decide how to handle it. The first one is upgrade pricing and all, but PDFpen also has two flavors, PDFpen 6 and PDFpen 6 Pro. And so I noticed when the literature came out that I could do an upgrade from PDFpen to PDFpen 6 Pro, as well as a regular upgrade from PDFpen to PDFpen 6. Sounds like government speak, but I said it right. So I guess what does PDFpenPro 6 offer that PDFpen 6 doesn't, and why would I or should I upgrade to the Pro version?
Well, in PDFpenPro, there are a few more power user features, such as the ability to create forms. So interactive cross-platform PDF forms, you can create PDFpenPro. You can build a table of contents and edit that. You can convert a website to PDF, so it can grab HTML and convert that into a PDF. And then the feature that we added in version 6 to PDFpenPro is what we discussed earlier, the document permissions setting. That's brand new. So those, any one of those features would be a good reason to upgrade to PDFpenPro. There is no upgrade path in the Mac App Store, so the upgrade, if you are a current owner of PDFpen, you'll want to come to our site, and we offer that for $30 for PDFpen, upgrading from PDFpen 5 to PDFpen 6 or from PDFpenPro 5 to PDFpenPro 6. Then if you're interested, if you're a PDFpen owner and you're interested in moving up to the Pro version, that's a $40 upgrade. So you can go from PDFpen 5 to PDFpenPro 6, and it's just $40. So we really do encourage our users who are upgrading to consider this is a good time to go Pro.
Thank you, Gene, for that explanation. It does get a little convoluted, but it also is presenting one of the things that about the Mac App Store that is becoming a bigger and bigger issue, and that is the upgrades. That you don't want to have to ask somebody to buy a full version of the app just so that they can have the current But on the other hand, you guys got to pay the bills, and it's a brand new version, so you can't just give it away. So it's a challenge, and so it would seem to me that relying on the traditional method, at least in a situation like this, is probably the best one.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the ability, if you've bought it in the Mac App Store, bought PDFpen 5, we can upgrade you to PDFpen 6, the Smile version. We can recognize your Mac App Store license, so that's good. But yeah, it is challenging. We, did our best in launching PDFpen to have a small window of upgrade pricing so that our Mac App Store customers could have a chance to upgrade at the same price as our direct Smile customers. But we're really just our hands are tied with Apple's setup of the App Store, and as I said, we did our best to accommodate the people that already had PDFpen and wanted to upgrade.
And to be clear, the trip, you say you can recognize the Mac App Store license, but that's a one-way trip, isn't it? It's a trip out of the App Store.
Yes, it is a one-way trip.
Yeah.
We don't have any way to upgrade your Smile version, Smile Store version to the Mac App Store version. There's no way for us to give free upgrades. It is frustrating because I think you can see, historically, Smile has always been very good about taking care of our customers and making sure that people can upgrade in a reasonable manner. And yeah, it's definitely been a challenge for us.
You all do have that reputation, and so you need to be in the App Store for the visibility, and those people who are just App Store customers. I guess that's the best way to characterize them. So, yeah.
And the iCloud as well. That's only a one. There's no flexibility there. iCloud is only in the Mac App Store.
Right. And iCloud has some advantages over Dropbox, but Dropbox has some advantages over iCloud. So, I guess you take your choice.
Yes.
So let's see, we have Word export, we have a revised interface. We talked about the difference between PDFpen and PDFpenPro, the 6 versions. We've talked about the distribution. Have we missed any of the high points, or are there any non-high points that we should touch on?
Oh, I'm sure Philip or Greg would like to chime in with some of the other features they worked very hard on.
I can think of one, which is my favorite feature, and it's my favorite feature, and Greg did it, and it's the one that lets you take a form which isn't a form, because often you get like a PDF which has these underlines on it, and you click in them and they don't do anything because it's not interactive. And there's now a feature where you can turn it straight into an interactive form. It goes through a process detecting all the fields, and then you can just, lo and behold, type in them. You can check boxes that were originally uncheckable, and it's like magic. I love it.
Yeah.
We've also adopted the OS X Lion style of autosave and versioning. So if you've used Pages or Numbers or Keynotes, you're familiar with, you don't have to worry about saving a document. You don't have to worry about having a complete past version history of your document. It's all right there.
And I have a couple favorites and the new features. One is you have the ability now to rearrange your items in the library. So where you put your signatures and your where you put your signatures and your scribbles and things like that, proofreading marks that you like to save. Now you can drag and drop them in the order that you want them to be in, which is really handy. My other favorite thing is I really love the new sidebar. This is part of the interface update that Philip was talking about before, but you can and one of the things I really like is you can filter your annotations. So if you only want to look at a certain kind of annotation, say comments, you can do so, and that's super handy if you're working with a PDF that has a lot of different kinds of annotations, and you really just want to look at one thing. So that's those are two of my favorite. I probably have more. I like the new icon. What can I say?
Well, that's the thing. There's so many, we always gravitate toward the big features, the ones that most people are probably most likely to use or appreciate. But it's those little things that as you use a program more, that you start to really notice and say, boy, I'm glad they did this. Or in some cases, why didn't they do that? But that never happens with Smile software. So right now, you have PDFpen for the Mac, you have it for the iPad, and you have it for the iPhone. So you've got me covered pretty much everywhere, which is very nice. And especially, we'll go back and praise iCloud. If I wanted to manipulate documents on all the devices, having iCloud sync makes it very easy.
That's true. Although they all work with Dropbox too. So just to, put in another little vote for Dropbox. It was pretty obvious as soon as the iPad came out, especially that people were going to be using that as a kind of mobile computing device and leaving their laptops at home. And they'd still want to be able to do things with their PDFs. So PDFpen for iPad, we did in the January of 2012, that came out. And that just went really well. People really liked it. And partly because it is so powerful, there's only a handful of features, I would say, that are not available on the iPad that are available on the Mac. So all the correcting of text, signing things, all the annotations, and so much more you can do on the iPad now. And then, of course, on the iPhone, you have that in your pocket at all times. So if you do need to make a quick change to something or sign something, it's really handy to have PDFpen for iPhone. I suppose we'll be looking at a version for the iWatch when it comes out. That will have probably not as many features as the iPad and iPhone version.
I have this vision of sitting in the office doing this. What are you doing? I'm editing a PDF. Oh, do you know something we don't, Gene, about the iWatch? Is that what you're saying?
No, in fact, I'm the worst person for rumors and stuff like that.
I don't even know that's a rumor anymore. I think that's just a fantasy that was concocted.
Well, it's getting hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, good point. So could I ask someone to go down the pricing for everything so that we give the viewers and listeners the whole shooting match about what it'll cost them to get completely up and running with PDFpen everywhere?
Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I figured
you guys all...
I got it. All right. So PDFpen is $59.95. PDFpenPro is $99.95. The upgrade from PDFpen 5 to PDFpen 6, or from PDFpenPro to PDFpenPro 5 to PDFpenPro 6 is $30. The upgrade from PDFpenPro 5, from PDFpen 5 to PDFpenPro 6 is $40. I can do that last one again if you want.
No, that's good.
Two more you missed, Greg. We've got PDFpen for iPad is $14.99, and PDFpen for iPhone is $4.99.
I left that one wide open for you, Philip.
Thank you.
This all went so well at rehearsal, and it's just falling apart. Oh.
Do you think your listeners would believe that we rehearsed this?
Yeah, really.
I don't know. Folks, there are comments right below this if you're on the website. We'd like to know.
There we go.
Do you believe we rehearsed this or not?
Nah.
Well, it's so easy to say this about some pieces of software, and PDFpen, whatever flavor, is absolutely true, that it truly is an essential piece of software. If you're in business, even if you're not, the amount of stuff we get now in just through email and transactions, and now we know we can get it out to Word if we want to. We can even extract the graphics for that matter, which I can think of reasons to do that all over the place. Even if I didn't need it in Word format, I can get the graphics out. So good job, guys. Thank you. And at this rate, let's see, we'll be talking again toward the end of June if we keep up this every 3-month pace.
Interesting. Maybe we'll have something to talk about then.
Careful what you wish for.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, put it on your calendar now, folks. The iWatch version at the end of June.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You heard it here first. Oh man, Gene MacDonald, Philip Goward, Greg Scown, thank you so much. This is the Smile Software crew, and they have brought us PDFpen 6. It's a pleasure to see you all. Thanks again.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks. Yeah.
Folks, this is MacVoices. I will have links in the show notes to all the flavors of PDFpen, and even a link to the upgrade page so that you can keep all that straight. Go out and get this. You will not be sorry. Until the next time, I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, app.net, Google+, Facebook, and for more Apple, Mac, and tech-related shows, including MacVoices, Mac Notables, the Mac Jury, and the MacVoices Briefing. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com.